Hey, good morning. Welcome to Viking Preparedness. I am Pastor Joe Fox, and in this video, I want to talk to you a little bit more about the futility of defending one's home from one's mailbox. Concepts related to that. So, first, cue the intro. Doon, 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 doon. Dun, dun. All right. There are many people out there who have the fantasy of defending their place against all comers, man. Whether that be local law enforcement or a tyrannical government run berserk, or the Chinese, or the Russians, or maybe even some people, the aliens. This is my plan, man. When they come, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that. When they come, you basically have two options: flee or die. Oh, I know that strikes to the manhood of a lot of people, militia type people. You don't understand, man. We can. Let me elaborate. I served 3 years as an infantryman and 17 years as a special forces officer in a primarily peacetime military. All we did was train. Train, 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 train. When I was in the infantry, we trained how to shoot, move, and communicate, right? We would shoot, not that much, quite frankly. We would road march, carry rucksacks, over the most adverse terrain at night as whole units, hundreds of men. And arrive at some place we wanted to, and then attack. We knew how to use radios and hand and arm signals and dun 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 dun. Dun. And I went to Ranger School, I went to Airborne School, I went to all these schools, Air Assault School. So I went to all these schools and got trained. But then when you get to and so did the soldiers with whom I served. And you go to advanced, basic, blah blah blah. And then once you get to your unit, you're trained. But you continue to train more. Sometimes you just continue to do the same stuff you already know how to do. I already know how to pack a rucksack and carry it over those mountains. Check that block. Good, we're doing it again on Thursday. Every Thursday. And things like that. The men in the infantry were generally fit and young. 18 to 40. 40 was old. Mostly 18 to 35, right? They were good at what they did, which is to say squad, platoon, company attack. They were very good at that. A company is about 130 people, men. A platoon's about 30 some. A squad's about, 11-ish, 10-ish people. They're very good at that. They had that stuff down. We had that stuff down. Then I went to Special Forces. And after about a year of training to be a Special Forces soldier, I got to my unit, my detachment, and I'm trained, right? So we're done. Oh, heck no. We trained every day, long hours. I mean, we did everything: shoot, move, and communicate, right? We did more physical training. We did a lot more shooting of various kinds. I'm not talking about sitting on a bench we shot all kinds of scenarios, all kinds of things. We were very good. We trained in all kinds of environments constantly, typically carrying heavy loads and moving vast distances, and then doing something very violent at the end of those movements, and then getting away. And we were generally young. I would say late 20s to mid 30s was the average age of these men with whom I served. And we were very, very good. The average SWAT team out there is comprised of guys who are typically in their 30s. Some are low 40s. They train a fair amount. They generally shoot very well. Their squad tactics, because that's what they really are as a squad in the most cases, their squad tactics are excellent. They're excellent. And they work together. They shoot, move, and communicate very well together. And so you think that you and your merry band of who is going to go against these people, whether they're Chinese, Russians, law enforcement, military, whatever, and prevail? You're not. You're just not. How old are you? How fit are you? How much do you train? Because, see, these people train every day. So some SWAT teams, not every day. But military people, if they're not conducting ops, they're training, right? And they're never good enough, right? We're never good enough. We can always get better. We can always get better. And so the average Joe civilian out there, who has a group of whatever kind, whether that's his neighbors or his wife or his teenage son or whatever, you guys don't have a chance against a real unit coming. Now, let's take that. Oh, I know, Pastor Joe. Okay, so if you know that, what's your plan when they come? If you realize, or if you will admit that, yep, can't stand against them, then what is your plan? Because what if this unit, this organization that's coming for you means you great harm? What's your plan? You should have one. You should have 4, right? That's 1. 2, a lot of people only fantasize about the scenarios they think they can endure, right? Oh, that'll never happen. What'll probably happen is something you think you can deal with, right? I'm telling you, you better get ready for things you can't deal with. But what about it's a rogue local police department that's deputized a whole bunch of people? Or what if it's, the Hatfields and McCoys, a clan of people who are generally not very good people to begin with, and now that since there's no rule of law, they've decided they're going to own, the county or something, and they're going to start doing bad things. They're not as fit as trained people. They're not as trained by any means as military, police, those types of people. They might be almost as well equipped. They might be. But then we have this saying that I used to use, that quantity has a quality all its own. They will probably hit targets with a fair amount of people. And nobody's stupid, right? They're going to do reconnaissance first. There's that really scary thing that went around, I don't know, a couple of years ago about how, this is what we're going to do. We're going to do this. We're going to find out what's going on there. We're going to go in there and kill everybody. Yeah, some dude was having some fantasy in his living room when he made that video, but there was some truth to it. There was some truth to the dangers of things like that. And so even those people, the average group of people out there, is not going to stand a chance against. And fast forward 8 weeks into an event, that organization of, let's just call them Bubbas, will have gotten better at what they do. It's like when I teach women self-defense, I say the first time you're attacked by a man is not going to be the first time he's attacked a woman. Things to think about. Every time, this group hits a new target, they get smarter, harder, better. You're just waiting to get hit. It'd really be in your best interest to get hit immediately. That's your best chance, right? They have no experience yet. So what's my point? My point is you need to get better at defense than you are now in all aspects. Physical fitness. It is amazingly exhausting to fight. So you need to be physically fit. You need to be able to run, jump, carry heavy things, right? Climb over walls with kit on. You need to be able to do that if you envision yourself fighting at all, resisting. I don't care if you're a 50-year-old woman, you should be doing push-ups. You should be strong. I'm not saying you got to look like a bodybuilder on the cover of one of those magazines, but you should be strong. You should have endurance. You should be able to run from here to there and then pick up something heavy and run it back here and then run out there and do it again. You should be able to do that if you envision fighting. And if you don't, then you better have a plan for what to do when the fight comes, which probably entails running away, because closing your eyes, curling up into a fetal position, and sucking your thumb is not going to make the boogeyman go away. So harden yourself, harden your positions to the best that you can. Train your people, which for most of you means you need to start finding some people that are actually going to be there when the event happens. You know, having a group of militia guys where Bob lives on the other side of town, Bill lives in the next city over, all over, that's not going to work. Nobody's going to leave their family. If they do you really want to be with them? Right? So you're going to have to be together somewhere to put up any kind of defense. And if not, if you're not going to defend, then you have to have a plan to run away. I did some videos, I think they're in my playlist on YouTube under security one time on neighborhood defense kind of things. And I talked about defensive source nets. And basically you need to know when trouble's coming before it gets to you so you can avoid it. Prepare for it or avoid it. What's your plan to leave when the bad guys are coming? What's that look like? You're not going to be able to take all your stuff. So then what? Hard, cold realities. But in times of chaos, chaotic things happen. I'm trying to help y'all think through these things now, come up with some decent plans, and then enact some steps to help yourselves. Never say die. Never give up. Never say, well, if that happens, I'm toast. Well, that's a weak attitude. When that happens, what are you going to do? Come up with something. You're smart. You're a smart man or woman. You're a Viking. Figure out what you're going to do. But remember, action beats reaction. It's better to go first. If you got to run away, it's better to run away first. If you got to fight, it's better to fight first. Action beats reaction. Think about those things, but please, if you have any fantasies about standing up against a trained unit that's coming after you, I don't care if it's the Kenyan Light Infantry. I don't even know if there is such a thing. But, you know, some sub-Saharan African military unit under UN guys, man. You don't have a chance. You don't have a chance. I talked to the millennial man and also, what is his name? Schnookums on Home Skillet. I don't know if they've put their backgrounds out, so I'm not going to, but they both have background in things. And they agreed with me. You know, the sheer firepower that an American infantry squad, 8 to 11 guys, has is amazing. It's awe-inspiring, and that's before they get on the radio and call for helicopter gunships, A-10s, F-16s, artillery that's back there, their buddies over here in, vehicles. Just those 8 or 11 guys, the amount of, I'm looking at a hillside over there, the amount of sheer devastation they can place on a very precise point in the ground, something to behold. Most people aren't ready for that. You can't get ready for that. You need to have a plan to run away, run away. Think about that. Think about that. Maybe make some notes. Don't do it on your computer. All right. I'll see you out there.